Hello, my astrology friends. This is Lada from AstroladaOfficial, and today my guest is the incredible Vedic astrologer Himanshu. He is leading two courses right now. One is Foundations of Vedic Astrology, which is a year long. You can hop on it. You'll get the previous few classes. Or the shorter one, which is which one was it? The shorter one?
Roots of Vedic Astrology, where we are discussing just the introduction of Vedic Astrology,
Oh
like
yeah,
planets,
houses,
signs,
planets, and signs. This is a short, a
aspects.
few weeks, yeah, a couple of months course.
3
If you'd
months.
like to join any of those, I'll put the link below. And today, Himanshu will be presenting to us, we'll be speaking about each of the 12 rising signs, ascendant signs as we know it. The sign that you were, when you were born, that was on the eastern horizon. This is the point of entry for your soul into this human physical incarnation. That's why it is the beginning of the horoscope. It is the most important point in astrology. And in Vedic and in Western astrology, we base the whole horoscope based on this beginning ascendant sign. And Himanshu will talk to us about which are the good and more difficult planets for each of the ascendant signs. For example, someone like me, Aquarius rising, Jupiter, I don't feel it much. For me, Saturn tends to give the big things usually. And for someone and other people would say, wow, Saturn transits are great for me. Or others would say, oh, Jupiter transits don't do anything or do something. So Himanshu will explain to you why this is so and how some. For example, for Cancer rising, Mars is a good planet, and you will see why. And Mars transits can bring something really good. So I'm very excited. Himanshu uses tropical zodiac, even though he uses Western principles. But if you are Vedic astrology using sidereal zodiac, these are the same principles. Use it with whatever system you use. Himanshu also has found that tropical works amazing. So anyone who is Western astrologer, please apply to a chart. You'll be floored, and you use whole sign house system with this. One sign is one house. And now that I explained, Himanshu can start.
Hello, welcome everybody. And although everything is explained very well by Alada, so basically today we will be discussing about rising signs. And rising is the one of the most important part of the horoscope. Most important part of the horoscope. Without rising and without looking at the rising or ascendant or the Lord of Ascendant, we cannot really lead the horoscope even a bit. Okay, so first of all, we need to understand what is a ascendant or rising. Ascendant is something which defines us. And how we find the ascendant. So actually, this whole universe starts with the day. So everybody living on earth, they start their day. And how the day starts when sun coming from the east direction. That is why east becomes very important direction of our life. Okay, even when the moon comes up, that comes from the east direction. So you see the moon rising or the sun rising, that will be happening from the east. So that is the very key and essential part of our life. Sun may not be in your rising, but all of you must have a rising sign. And whenever we talk about rising sign, meaning at that particular moment of your birth, if we look towards the east direction, that particular sign will be coming from there. Okay, so slowly the day starts by sun coming from the east direction, and wherever, like right now the sun is in Virgo, so wherever what happened, so from now that particular sun sign will be rising, and after some time sun will be shifting towards the south direction, then the west direction, and as the sun is moving, the other signs are coming from the east direction. Depending on whatever the planets are there, they will be in the east direction. So this is a little bit how to find out the rising. Now, many people just talk about rising is our longevity, rising is our body. This is something which I have figured that rising is not just our longevity. If we talk about longevity or the body, that is coming from moon actually. So moon is the responsible for body. many people, even let's say talk about Western astrology or Vedic astrology, whenever they want to talk about body and all those things or the longevity, they start talking about the rising ascendant, which I really don't feel very accurate. And let me give you the logic behind it. So if we want to talk about wealth or career, we talk Surya, sun. Okay, that is why whenever we read our daily horoscope or monthly horoscope, many of you will start reading from the sun sign, because from there the prosperity is coming up. From there the harmony is coming up. Wealth is coming up. Okay, day-to-day decisions are really dependent on our wealth, prosperity and wealth. But when we talk about moon, that is the one who is putting life into the body. So life will be represented by moon. And even if we talk about a general aspect, what is happening, how we take birth, we are taking birth because of, like, from where we are coming. We are coming from mother. What is mother? Mother is moon. That is indicating our physical existence, not the rising sign. Rising sign definitely modifies the moon. So now coming on the part, what is rising time? That is the intelligence. That is intellect we have. So many times whenever I study transit, I take two things together. One is studying transit from the rising, studying transit from the moon, basically. One, how our approach, our intellect is acting in day-to-day life, or that particular moment for what we are checking the transit. And how is our body responding, our life responding, it like what is going to happen to us physically. One is approach, how we manage our approach, and second is how we manage our physical existence. And then we budge in with the sun, which is the wealth prospect. So that is something which is there, and we will confirm that longevity will be indicated by moon than the rise. Of course, there's something like ascendant modifies, rising modifies the moon. So physical body is represented moon, like we discussed. Like I have these two hands. Okay. So I'm using these two hands to draw a horoscope. Lada is using these two hands to draw a horoscope. But somebody else can be using these two hands to hold a gun, or to hold a knife, or to hold a sports equipment. So that is indicated by rising. Moon is indicating that, okay, I'm having two hands. But rising will be modifying what I want to do with these two hands. That's why it's very important to study transits, the monthly, yearly, daily transit from the rising sign. Okay, so intelligence is also something, our aura, the personality. And personality defines our physique. So what is happening in there? Before, like I said, how we are using our hands, that is coming from the intelligence. What kind of intelligence we are having? Decision making is coming from the intelligence. Suppose when we see somebody is having Jupiter in the rising sign, Sun in the rising sign, we simply say the person is very intelligent, person is very intellectual, a person is very good with decision making responsibilities. And on the other hand, if we have Saturn in the first house, South Node in the first house, we say that decision making is not good. Why? Because they are afflicting our intelligence. Because, like, Saturn is not very responsible in the first house. South Node is not having head. So when somebody who is not having head at all, that is coming in the rising sign, they don't know what to do. And this is the rising sign which make us to think left, right, good or bad, good or bad. And the ultimate result, the ultimate decision will indicate what kind of a rising sign we are having. Whether it's a good impact, or whether it is having a good influence, or it is having bad influence. If it is having good influence, we will be taking good decisions. We might be thinking about good and bad both together. but the ultimate result will be depending on the ultimate influence on the rise. Okay, so this is the thing. And even today, people are more connecting to spiritual life. We need to understand many people goes ninth house for the spiritual life. But how long we can stick to spiritual life, how well we can stick to spiritual life, that is again defined by ascendant or ascending rising. So these two are the things. And whenever we study horoscope, very first thing we see how is ascendant, how is rising, and that will indicate what will be approach provided to us. Okay. So this was a little introduction about rising and how we use it, and because to know what kind of good or malefics or good benefics and bad malefics will be impacting rising based on these things. Let me share my screen. So before we start, let's have something with Ganpati. And honoring my mentors. I have two mentors. One is Pandit Vijendra Shastri, second is Shri Ans Vilam. Whatever the knowledge I'm talking, it is coming from these two wonderful mentors. So let's start talking about each rising sign and how to deal with that. Very first rising sign is Aries, and this is the most interesting rising sign, I think. Interesting. Because this is
Can I
also
just ask, this is only for rising sign. It cannot be applied to moon sign.
yes.
Okay.
But actually, when we are studying transits, we can apply whatever we are talking, we can apply those to moon as well. Because
the
when
moon
we
is
study, because when we study horoscope, we take rising sign, then we take moon rising as well, and then we take sun rising as well. So the implementation of the rising combination will be applicable on all the three.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
But when we talk about intelligence, this is how we study. When we talk about physical attributes, we talk about the moon. When we talk about wealth attributes, we talk about sun. So attributes will be the implementation of the techniques will be more or less same on the all three of them.
Okay, so like I'm Aries sun, when we talk about wealth, success, which is the sun, for me, Jupiter, Sun, and Mars will be benefics. But when I
Yes.
speak from my ascendant, which is Aquarius, which is my intelligence, actually Venus. Okay.
And Saturn, yes.
Okay.
So, like I said, Aries is one of the most interesting rising in astrology because from here, our zodiac sign starts. We call it natural zodiac. Whenever we apply something, no matter what rising it is, all the combination, all the permutation and combination are coming from the Aries rising. The concept of 8th house, the concept of 5th house, 9th house, and many conjunctions, they are actually coming from the natural zodiac only. Let's say we have to talk, we have to study about any rising sign. Let's say in some rising, a Cancer rising, Moon and Saturn are together, who becomes first lord and seventh lord. So what we will be applying, we will be applying Mars and Venus thing on there because in Aries, Mars becomes the first house and Venus becomes the seventh house lord, and the kind of results we will be getting from that, that is the energy will be coming from these two. Okay, talking more about specifically about Aries. So in Aries, Jupiter, Sun, and Mars are the benefics. Why is so? First of all, why Mars is the benefic? Because this is the ascendant lord. Okay, ascendant lord is Mars, and then the Yoga Karaka becomes fifth house become Leo, and the lord of Leo is Sun. Fifth house, and then ninth house becomes Sagittarius, and Lord of Sagittarius is Jupiter. So here what I'm talking, these planets are the one which will be indicating the most success coming to, the responsible planet of Aries horoscope. No matter what, they are bound to give positive results. And out of these three also, Jupiter becomes the most benefic one, being the ninth lord. So ninth is becoming stronger than the fifth. Then the next benefic becomes Mars and Saturn. And we talk about malefics, Mercury and Venus becomes the most malefic because Mercury is the lord of third house and sixth house, Gemini and Virgo. So we know four houses are very difficult. One is third house, another is sixth house, another is eighth house, and also 12th house. The lord of these two houses are difficult for everybody. Unless, like Jupiter, they are acquiring a benefic house as well.
Why would why would the third house be a difficult house?
Okay,
It's making
so
a sextile to the ascendant.
okay, so this sorry.
Because it's making a sextile to the ascendant, while the 6, the 8, and the 12, they don't make an aspect. But why is in Vedic astrology third house difficult?
So in Vedic astrology, we discuss about a concept of Maraka. Okay. So Maraka is a planet because why Venus become a malefic, it's a lord of second house, seventh house. These two are the Maraka houses. And eighth house is the most Maraka house. Maraka means indicating most struggle. And in struggle, what kind of struggle? Death-like struggle. So third house being 8 to the 8 indicates same kind of Maraka energy.
8 from 8. Okay.
Yes. So that is the reason why third house is considered difficult house. Similarly, second house is 8 from 7. These two houses are the Marka one. And 8 from these two houses are this. So because one is giving us the ability, so opposite will be, of course, this will be providing the support, but this will be also providing the struggle. Similarly, if some planet is getting exalted in a particular sign, it will get debilitated in the opposite, just opposite sign of it. Jupiter is getting exalted in Cancer. Opposite, the 7 houses apart is Capricorn. So it is getting debilitated there, the same concept. Okay, so Mercury is the greatest malefic because it is alone holding two malefic houses. And in specifically Aries rising, we will not be considering the eighth lord, who is Mars, as a malefic one. Some people, you know what, yesterday only I was talking to a client and who was Taurus rising. Libra rising. She was a Libra rising, and she was considering, like, Venus was in the first house in the Libra sign, ascendant in the ascendant. She was referring, she has some knowledge of astrology. She was referring 8 in the first house. I said, why you are taking 8 in the first house? It is first in the first house. So we have to be very careful with dealing with the Venus and Mars rising signs, because the whole difficult house is being the ascendant. So we have to see what kind of result it is giving. And for that, we specifically considered the ninth division, Navamsha chart, get the ultimate outcome of ascendant, whether it is giving 8th house result more or the first house result more. And Saturn is a difficult one because this is promising the most hardworking house of the horoscope is 10th house. And Saturn is somebody, whenever it rules any house, it gives struggle regarding to that house. So it is giving struggle to this house, 10th house, which is the house of our efforts, our recognition, and all those things. And if let's talk about some combinations, which is very important for Aries rising. For Aries rising, there's very good combination talk in the classics. The very first thing, Sun plus Moon gives a Raj Yoga. What is Raj Yoga? That's a kingly combination.
It's success of some sort.
Yes, the most success-giving combination. Raj Yoga is the one where you can depend that, okay, I will be getting success from this particular part because Sun is being the Lord of the 4,000. Sorry, Moon is being the Lord of 4,000, Sun being the Lord of 5th house. Whenever they conjoin together, that is a good one. On the other hand, if we talk about somebody who can create troubles in, if that joins any Raj Yoga, that is Venus. Whenever Venus joins any Raj Yoga, that will be causing trouble because it is a lot of two Marka houses.
So when you're Aries rising, it's good if you're born on a new moon, Sun with moon.
So
Or
basically, when you know what, somewhere it should not be a new moon day. Either one day before or one day later, Sun will again share the same sign conjunction most of the time. Because Sun and Moon combination tight conjunction indicates darkness in the horoscope.
they'll have some difficulty as well.
Yes, because initial life becomes very difficult. I have that combination like Sun and Moon together, and that twin in your sign. So initial life gives struggle for that particular person, and unless that person's ascendant is not strong enough, the person will not able to grow properly.
What if the Sun is opposite the moon, full moon for Aries Ascendant? That's also
Best
right.
combination. Best combination you can have.
So if you're born Ascendant Aries, you're gonna have great success if you're born on a full moon, Sun opposite moon.
And that is applicable for all rising signs. Sun opposing Moon. This is applicable for all, because you know what, the more light now, instead of just one thing, because Moon is what, that is the another sun only, because it is taking light from the sun. So in that case, we are having the qualities of two suns. Right? And this is particular thing which I have experienced in my practice, that even if that is happening in a difficult house, let's say one is in the 6th house and another is in the 12th house, both of them are difficult houses, still person able to do very well.
I have noticed something similar for sure.
Yeah.
And exactly this combination, 6th house moon, 12th house sun, and this lady is very successful, well-known, famous in my country, even though she had difficulties in her life, 6th and 12th house, but always successful, always
Yeah, because if somebody is having, if you're talking about that particular person, she must be having sun in the 12th house. Okay, that is giving difficulties to her. And but still this particular sun will be managing the qualities, because in some of the previous lecture we discussed, sun becomes Marna Karaka, that like situation for sun in the 12th house. Okay, so we discuss about sun and moon conjunction because they become the lord of this one. But on the same hand, on the other hand, you will be saying that similarly lord of 9th and 10th will represent the same, like Saturn plus Jupiter. Definitely not. This doesn't confirm a Raj Yoga because one is debilitating the another. So that doesn't confirm any Raj Yoga. It will not give difficulties as well, but it will not give the positive stuff. One very important thing about Aries rising, because this is a very fiery rising sign. So these people who are Aries rising, they have a very high risk of having smallpox, chickenpox, or these kind of disease which are generated by having a lot of fire in the body, or or injuries from weapon. So this is something which is very common about people who are Aries rising. And if we are talking about difficulties, whenever Mars plus Mercury happens in rising sign, okay, let me clean that. Mars plus Mercury in the first house, person 90% of the time person will be dying from the brain shock. 90% of the time, the person will definitely have a brain shock or some brain related problem. It can be like having severe migraines, it can be having mental issues. That is confirmed. And we can see when that will happen depending on the dasha, antardasha, all those things. On the other hand, when Mars conjoined with Jupiter plus Venus, like Jupiter plus Venus plus Mars, that in the second house means Taurus sign. This is a very good combination. Very yoga karaka.
For Aries rising, yeah.
For Aries rising, we are talking just about Aries rising right now. Okay. So, and if same thing in Taurus, it is a good combination yoga karaka. If the same thing happens in third house, nothing. No, we are not getting any benefic yoga karaka benefits. Similarly, like this combination giving brain shock in the first house and same combination in the sixth house give skin disease. These two are very, so you can conclude Mercury in the Aries rising is the giver of disease. Okay.
Because it's ruler of the sixth.
It is a ruler of sixth. Now let's talk about Taurus. So in my course, I'm talking very detailed about all the risings, like all the possible aspects. So, but because of time, we cannot discuss a lot of stuff here. So we are just touching the main points. So Taurus, whenever we have Taurus as a rising sign, best benefic is Saturn, because it becomes a lord of 10th and 9th house. Mercury, Mars, Sun, they are also benefit. Okay, but Saturn is the most benefic giving planet because this is a solo planet who confirms Raj Yoga, acquiring 2 houses.
For Taurus, I think Sun conjunct Saturn might also bring a lot of success because Sun rules
Actually, yes.
angular house.
Yes,
Saturn
angular and quadrant house.
Yeah. Angular and trinal. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically that will be giving very, so this will be the Leo, so it becomes the 4th, and this will become the 10th and 9th house. So whenever Sun and Sun and Saturn get conjoined, so these 3 houses are getting activated, and these are very powerful houses.
Even Saturn opposition Sun for Taurus rising is also good.
So Saturn, that is good in terms of success, but whenever that happens for person's personal life, that causes problem.
Saturn Sun always causes problems. Yeah, there will be a difficult
opposite. Yeah, because they're causing a lot of, so when they are together, there's one thing peculiar about Sun and Saturn. When they're together in a conjunction, they doesn't cause a lot of problem. But whenever they are expecting opposite to each other, they cause a lot of problem.
Mm.
And if that happens in a bad house, malefic house, it also indicates ancestral curse.
Ooh.
Few things which create ancestral curse. Saturn and Sun opposing in the malefic house, Sun and Note not together, and in any house poses ancestral curse.
What would be ancestral curse? Like someone cursed your family, someone in the family did something very bad, and
Yeah, basically, originally it started, if we talk about the past time, when somebody from our family, our lineage, did something bad with saint, monk, or priest. So that particular person cursed that person, and now the person is not leaving the earth. So not going to the heavenly abode. The person is stuck. Our ancestor is stuck in this earth, and they want us to free them. So until unless we don't free them, they will causing problem because they are in pain themselves.
wow.
This is same thing. Whenever we were kid, we were in pain. Whom we used to trouble? Our parents. We started crying and troubling them at the midnight, this and that. So similarly, now they have left this earth as a physical body. They can't do anything by themselves. So they want us to do something good for the nature, so that nature bless them from us by channeling us, so that they can have their own enlightenment.
So
In
people with
being,
Saturn opposition Sun or Saturn Rahu, they have to really work hard on being good, and even if
yes,
they don't deserve the bad stuff happening to them, it's like they're trying to free the whole family from a curse. So they've chosen to carry this burden and to change things somehow.
one thing you can notice, whosoever is having Saturn and Sun opposing to each other in malefic house, I'm specifically talking malefic house, you can see there's some family drama goes in their family. And either people are not getting in their family, or people are not having children in their family, or people are not having a good connection with each other.
Mm.
And whenever you say that and say their family is causing a drama, just tell them, do something good, like feed the poor, feed animals in the name of your ancestors, so that they can get some blessings from the nature, and they can feel the ease to pass from this day.
So with Saturn Sun opposition and Saturn and Sun Rahu, you need to work on virtues, being a good person, virtues,
Yes.
morality. Okay. And
Our good deeds affect them, our bad deeds also affect them, our ancestors and our upcoming lineages. Because like why we are having ancestral curse? Because our ancestor troubled somebody. That is why we are facing troubles in this life, because of them we are in trouble. So our deeds will be affecting our ancestors who already left this world for the coming generations. So we should be very careful with our karma, whatever we do. We are not just causing trouble for us or some good for us. We are managing it. We are making it for the upcoming generations as well.
And we do know that many times souls reincarnate back into the same family line. Say now,
Yes.
my grandmother might be, or great grandmother might be waiting to be reborn as one of my children, or when I pass, and maybe they are coming back to correct their own mistake when they have such a
And
position.
it does happen. It does happen, and I have seen this happening myself. Okay. So in Taurus, there's one very important thing. Whenever Mercury, Mercury and Jupiter conjoins, most of them anywhere in the horoscope, Mercury plus Jupiter, it indicates wealth yoga, wealth combination. It just should not happen in the 12th house. Otherwise, it will give a very good yoga. Even in the 8th house, where if Mercury plus Jupiter happens, it confirms person will be wealthy, because they are opposing each other. So Mercury is being the lord of second house, Jupiter is being the lord of this and this house. Because remember, we discussed in our last session, this indicates inheritance coming from somewhere. And Mercury, Jupiter, although Jupiter is not a benefic planet in this chart, but just for this combination, it confirms something positive. Again, there is a mistake. Venus, Venus should not be here. Okay, like that. About Taurus, another good combination. If Moon is in the first house, let's say Moon is in the first house, although Moon is an evil planet, but this will be giving very auspicious result. Because this is getting exalted. Just one problem. It should not be afflicted. The little affliction will be causing all the auspiciousness of the horoscope be taken away if Moon is in the first house. So it should be just benefit. Even if it's get little bit affliction, it will be taking away all the benefits of the horoscope. Because then approach mind of the person will not be doing very good. For Taurus rising, the best period, the best dasha will be Venus dasha only. Venus dasha will be definitely creating wealth for Taurus rising people. Okay. Gemini rising, Mithuna. Venus is the most beneficial planet for this rising, Lagna. Gemini rising. So what happens with that? And Venus is very good in 12th house. So it is acquiring good houses for Venus. 5th house, and this house is the house of skills, knowledge, like that. So Venus is most benefic planet here. And Venus is the most benefic planet in the other sign of Mercury, which is Virgo. Venus is most benefic in uh, uh, that rising as well. And most malefic becomes Mars, being the lord of 11th house and 6th house. That is the most malefic. Sun will also be considered a kind of evil planet because this is a lord of 5th house. And Jupiter, of course, will be the lord of 7th and 12th. So you will ask me a question, why 7th and 10th lord is considered malefic? It creates Kendra Adhipati. Adhipati Dosh. Kendra means quadrant. Holding the most quadrant in the horoscope causes problem because the whole horoscope is depending on just one planet. We must have an edge of trine for the planet to be a benefit. There are only few things about Gemini which we need to be careful of. The very important combination, Venus plus Moon plus Mars. Venus, Moon, Mars combination in the quadrant, 1st house, 4th house, 7th house, 10th house, it creates abundance of wealth for the native. Abundance of the wealth. No matter what. Even you may think like what I'm talking, Mars is a lot of 11th and 6th house, but still the conjunction of these two guys with the Mars, because Mars will be giving strength for the person to take risk, and these two are confirming good yogas for the person. And if Mars is in Cancer sign, or Mars is here in the Cancer sign. So in Cancer, we all know Mars get debilitated. So in this particular period, we just need to be careful about Saturn period. It mostly gives mixed one, but still we need to be careful like what is happening in that particular period. If Mars and Saturn are not having a good relationship with each other, we are supposed to get problems. Health-wise, I'm talking. Majorly, it will indicate injuries for Gemini rising. Okay. Cancer rising. This is another interesting rising sign. First of all, people are very, very emotional who belongs to Cancer rising. No matter what is your work, how is your upbringing or anything, I have seen whosoever is a Cancer rising or mostly Cancer moon, they are emotional. Like even small triggers can really make them emotional. My mentor is a Cancer rising, so I have a trick. I just make him emotional by this and that. Sometimes he's teaching and he says, "Okay, I won't teach this to you now. This is a later thing." All those things. I just make him emotional, and then he next moment he's teaching. Okay, let me teach you this and that. So a lot of things which I learned from him is just by making him emotionally unstable. Okay, so I was a bad student in that sense. Jupiter and Mars becomes most benefit. What is happening here? Jupiter and Mars are the lord of two trines. And even Mars is a lord of 10th house. So Mars is the most benefic of Cancer rising. And if it have any relationship with Jupiter, it will be very, very good. So like I mentioned about my mentor, he is Cancer rising having Mars plus Jupiter in the 5th house. He shows sharp, so sharp. Within a fraction of 1 or 2 seconds, she predicts the whole horoscope. He just need to glance a horoscope, and next second, we are just having him to predict anything about it. And he know what the problem of the native is. So that's something which I have noticed about all the Cancer rising people whenever they have a combination of Mars plus Jupiter, that is good. Or Jupiter plus Moon in the rising sign. That is again a very good combination. Person is very, very ethical in that sense. And another thing, if Mars plus Moon plus Sun, these three planets happen to be in the 2nd house, meaning in the Leo sign, that again indicates wealth combination for the native. No matter if person is born in a slum area, person will be multimillionaire. If somebody else is not afflicting this combination, no matter what, where you have been born, whether you are working as a waiter or a lower level staff in any hotel, one day you will be having your own stuff. That is guaranteed. If you are having this particular combination. Again, see what is happening. Sun and Moon are coming together. Lada was saying something. So yeah, another thing, this is a one combination, but this combination can also be extended for this Mars, Moon, and Jupiter. This also indicates wealth in the horoscope. Mars, Moon, Jupiter together in the 2nd house. This is somebody which can take person to any height. Mars, Moon, Jupiter combination in the sign of Sun. Another one interesting thing which I have noticed, if somebody is having, although for evil planets are Mercury and Venus are evil planet for this particular thing, but if Mercury plus Venus happen to be in the 5th house, just this house, it is very good. Similarly, if Mercury and Moon happens to be in 9th house. This is a combination which can really turn a person into good astrologer. Why this is so? Mercury being the lord of third house, fourth house, having coming in the fifth house, giving skills to the person. And many times I have seen the person is leaving its native land, going far from its native land and rising here. This combination can make the person very famous also. Jupiter plus Moon. Okay. Other rising sign, Leo. Leo rising is also one of the good risings. Okay? Specifically, what I have seen with the Leo rising people, they are very ethical. Ethical rising sign. Good rising sign to have. Person are very responsible, very ethical, and very goal-oriented people. And specifically, Mars and Sun, because Mars is the lord of ninth house, and Sun is the rising lord, and then Mars is also lord of fourth house. These two are the most benefic. Mars is the most benefic out of these two, but both of them are most benefic. Mercury and Venus are not good. Jupiter, lord of fifth, and Moon, they are kind of neutral to Sun. Why Saturn is neutral in this sense? Because Sun is a father of Saturn. No matter how hard relationships are, most of the time parents are good to their children. Even if they're having a hard relationship, they eventually are good to their children. So what I have seen, Saturn plays a neutral relationship in Leo rising. And few combination, Sun plus Mercury plus Mars, or Sun plus Jupiter plus Mercury. These two are the one who indicates wealth, no matter what they are sitting. So here, Sun and Mercury, if only they two are together, which is considered as Buddha Aditya Yoga. Combination of Buddha means Mercury, Aditya means Sun, and Yoga. So some people really consider this a very good yoga, very good combination. I really don't experience any of those things because most of the people, many of the people are having this combination. At least 60% of the horoscope we can find where Mercury and Sun are together. At least 60%. Isn't it? It is happening. Okay.
And Mercury for Leo rising is the wealth planet because it rules the second and the 11th, isn't it?
Yes.
That's why
Yes.
it gives money when it's with the ruler of the first, the sun.
Yes.
Add Jupiter to that, or Mars,
Lord of the fifth or ninth.
then it makes really big combination for wealth.
Combination. Alone, Sun and Mercury will not able to do that. Similarly, for Venus, okay, Venus is somebody who really can't produce any good combination. But if it becomes um, in Taurus, comes to third house, it is a good one. But when it comes to 10th house, okay, in Taurus sign, that's just a neutral combination instead of a good combination because Venus will have to do some very serious hard work here. Here in the third house, Venus is good, but not in 10th house. I won't say it's a bad, but it's not as good as Venus being in the Libra sign. Second thing, there's one another good thing about this rising. If Sun plus Mars plus Mercury, this happens to be a combination of rising sign, then definitely person not only be earning good wealth, but it will be a public figure or somebody famous if that happens to be in a rising sign. So Virgo rising Venus alone is the best benefit. Lord of second house and Lord of ninth house. 70% of the auspiciousness depends on Venus in this rising sign. And this is the one of very nice rising, I would say. People who are born in Virgo rising, they are actually intelligent. By mind, they are very sharp, very intelligent. And Saturn is also one of the most benefic because that becomes a lot of uh, fifth house and also sixth house. Generally, sometimes at Virgo rising, people tend to create lot of enemies because Saturn is the lord of sixth house. So Saturn really be creating enemies to destroy the enemies. We have discussed that before as well. But Venus alone will be giving all kind of benefit to this rising sign. If by any chance you supposed to have Venus in a good houses, no matter what could be your circumstances, ultimately you will be making good money. Even if like you get a Venus in debilitation in the first house, the only thing which you need to be careful of, maintain your character. If you are able to maintain your character, being Virgo rising, Venus in the first house, you will be somebody who is getting very famous, very fortunate, and having some high connection with the high people. Okay. So yeah. And another some very good combination about Virgo rising. Sun plus Venus plus Moon. Sun, Venus, Moon. That also confirms good wealth. Although we may think Sun is the lord of wealth house, Moon is the lord of uh, this is Sun is the lord of 12th house, Moon is the lord of 11th house. Still coming together with the most auspicious one will be bringing wealth. And these are the people who can really work overseas. People who are the owner of MNCs. If other combination are really very good in the horoscope, these people can really work, either can have their own MNC company or having a very high position in the MNCs companies. Another one good combination about that, Jupiter plus Venus, they are not very friendly to each other. So Jupiter is the lord of fourth house, seventh house, and Venus is the lord. So if anywhere in the trines, first house, fifth house, ninth house, we find Jupiter and Venus are together, it can also produce good well combination. And also, if that happens, Jupiter plus Venus in Sagittarius, because both of them get directional strength in fourth house, it can produce very high wealth combination. These are the people who may work very less and getting a lot. If they are working 50%, they are getting 200%. Okay. Many people have a complaint, they are working 100%, 200%, and they end up getting 50%. This combination is for those people who work just 50% and getting 100% or 200%. So that's a thing. And for Virgo rising people, Saturn dasha, Saturn period will be very fruitful if Saturn is not afflicted by itself. Talking about Libra, and whatever the combination I'm discussing, if anytime these combinations are happening in the transit, do try to apply in your horoscope and see what you are getting during that time. Definitely you will be getting good things. Like I'm talking about the combination. If somehow that is happening in the transit and that is applicable on your horoscope, you will be getting good results. Okay, so another rising is Libra rising, Venus rising. The people who are after luxury most of the time, branding most of the time, most desired rising, people who have high desires, high expectations from their life and from themselves and the people around them. Like desire all the time. Why? Because this is a seventh house of natural zodiac, which is the house of desire trine of the desire. Okay. So this is something which is very interesting whenever, specifically whenever I meet females of Libra rising, that is something confirmed. They are into branding, fashion, this and that, art all the time. So that's an interesting part. So Libra rising. Libra rising people are basically good people in terms of um, their own self, but somehow I feel that many times I find them selfish as well to Libra rising people. What is your experience, Lada?
My husband is Libra rising.
Sorry for that.
He's very kind and gentle, but I I can't say.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
I
his moon placement is also good.
he,
Matthew's moon placement is good.
he loves taking care of his appearance a lot. He loves fashion, all those things.
So
But
that is a Libra thing.
yeah.
That is a confirmed Libra thing. I'm a Libra rising, first of all, for the
Oh,
audience. Okay.
pretty boys.
Yeah. So, so yeah. So if Matt come to know that I said Libra rising are selfish, he will not be angry with me. I'm a Libra rising as well.
You're being hard on yourself, okay?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So talking about Libra thing, if Venus is good position, Venus is holding power, then only person is after desires. Unlike me, who's having debilitated Venus in the 12th house, desires are nothing. What are the desires? I don't even care if I'm wearing a t-shirt, I'm wearing a shirt, or I'm wearing a shorts. Doesn't matter. That doesn't cross to my mind. So, but most of the time, Libra rising people are somebody who really care a lot, like how they appear, how they present. Okay. So, but since this rising lord is the one who has to influence uh, the desire is absent somehow. Somehow Saturn, Mercury, Venus, these three are the most benefit because Saturn is a lord of fifth and fourth. And Mercury being the lord of this house and this house, whenever we find these two houses, lord is something we really can't ignore. They are bound to give good results only.
So if you
No
have
matter what.
Saturn conjunct Mercury or opposition Mercury,
Very good.
okay, for Libra rising, or Mercury
Yes.
with Venus conjunction, very good.
Yes.
I've noticed
In
from my husband for sure, he lives for enjoyments, for pleasures, for good food, for his life is a very gentle person, but things come easy to him. He has Mercury conjunct Venus, so as a Libra rising. So
So that is very auspicious one, you know what, like here and here. Uh, and of course, in this particular rising, Mars is the lord of seventh house and second house.
mhm.
So basically what happens with these people, although Mars is difficult, Marka, but in this rising, it's not that Marka thing applicable here. Mars can really produce a very good combinations. If Mars is in somehow good houses, person is definite to have a good spouse.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's lucky there. His Mars
Yes.
is exalted. So
So yeah, and I'm waiting for my luck. Okay. Okay, so because Mars, this is the lord of seventh and second. So Mars has the potential to produce wealth as well.
what?
Decisions, wealth. Okay, it has a combination to produce wealth, and like because his uh his seventh lord is exalted, like you mentioned. Okay, Mars is exalted. Definitely, you must have abundant success after you got married him or you started relationship with him.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so his energy is uplifting the spouse.
Abs it seems so. Exactly, that's when it went up for me.
Yes. So his karma, past life karma, is infusing lot of energy in your karma. And even if this Mars, since we are talking about the Mars, if this Mars conjoined with Sun, we discussed this particular combination in our wealth webinar as well. Whenever the Lord of second and 11th conjoins, it produces immense amount of wealth.
He has it in opposition, Mars opposite Sun.
So same thing.
It's
Okay.
he comes
Yeah.
from a wealthy family as well, and money,
And
like he touches money and he makes money without effort. It's ridiculous.
without efforts. It's not ridiculous. Please don't call me ridiculous. So, and of course, same thing is happening with Saturn and Mercury as well. If somehow Saturn and Mercury is coming in kind of combination, person will be making immense amount of wealth. Okay. Another thing, um, um, one about, I forgot the combination. It happens. So I was talking about Saturn actually. So if Saturn's in this particular rising, although Saturn is a lord of fifth house, if it goes to the first house, person somehow will not able to produce some good diseases.
Isn't Saturn exalted in Libra?
Yeah, that is a thing. If this is alone, it will not able to produce good diseases. If somehow another benefic planet is aspecting here, then it will just do something opposite. Alone Saturn will not able to produce the kind of good results it was supposed to. Although this is a Shash Mahapurush Yoga, but if this becomes retro, then things will change. Just direct Saturn in the Libra in the first house will not able to do so. Because first house is the house of highly responsibilities, the most intellectual house we discuss. And Saturn is not having intellect at all. Okay, so that is why we need somebody else to infuse the intellectual part, and then we can get the results. Okay. But there's one thing. If Saturn is there in the first house and Moon is in the 10th house, this is again a very powerful combination. Then the 10th aspect of Saturn will be supporting Moon, the 10th house. Person will be very dedicated towards its job, towards its work, and it will be causing a lot of good things to them. Those are the people who are very workaholic. Those are the people who like work a lot and then go for it. Whatever they work, it gives good good results with that.
So Libra rising with Moon in Capricorn and Saturn in Libra.
No. Moon in Cancer and Saturn in Libra.
The Moon is in the 10th house, you said.
Yeah, so it's a Cancer sign in the Libra rising.
Oh, yeah, sorry, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so that's a good one. But Mars is something which should be, whose position is very interesting in Libra rising. Okay, so yeah. And somehow, if this Mars have a relationship with the 9th house, person should just wait for his or her spouse to come, so that his fortune starts rising up.
Because the house of fortune, the 9th, is connected
Yeah.
to the 7th house.
Yes.
Maybe Mars
Yeah.
in Gemini, or Mars conjunct Mercury, or Mars opposition Mercury, and their fortune will come after they marry.
Married. So yeah.
Yeah.
I have this combination, so I'm just waiting for my fortune. I'm just waiting it. Okay, something it will happen. And whenever I see a horoscope, like in India, it's a concept of arranged marriage. So I see whether this girl is having the combination to increase the combination to rise the fortune of her spouse or not. If that is not there, no, I'm not marrying that.
Oh my God. Is that what you mean by Libra being selfish?
Yes. And if you are an astrologer, definitely, because that indicates the same kind of combination in her chart as well. Because in your chart also, okay, the same combinations are there.
Mhm.
Yeah, enough about Libra.
Yeah, the ruler of
carried
my
away.
9th house, Venus, is conjunct the ruler of my 7th, the Sun.
Yeah,
So success or good fortune after marriage.
yes.
Okay,
So,
after partner.
because you know what, let me tell you one thing. One fine day I was with my mentor and we were matching a horoscope, and suddenly I said, this horoscope is not matching. And he said, what are your grounds of not matching this horoscope? I said, this is horoscope is having this trouble. Another horoscope is having this trouble. How the magic gonna work? And my mentor actually taught me very important thing. So he said that if a horoscope is having a troubled marriage life, you cannot bring a good horoscope for that person, because the person is supposed to bear that.
Mhm.
That only pairing will be coming if the other person is having the same kind of combination. We can just manage to not to pick too bad horoscope for our client, but somehow we have to make the adjustment. Okay, so we have time for, or we have to do
Here.
other. Okay, okay, so now coming up on the Scorpio rising, one of the most mysterious people, one of the most high energy people. Okay, Scorpio rising. So what happened with the Scorpio rising people? Basically, these are the people who really depend on their energy a lot. And whenever I talk about Scorpio rising, I really take care, like whosoever is connected to them should have the potential to handle them properly,
To handle them.
to handle them very wisely, because they can be very tough to handle.
I know my son is Scorpio rising, Scorpio moon.
And you told me like he is somebody who's having a very strong figure based on his
He both
conjunction as well.
He wakes up early in the morning, cleans the whole house, makes the program for the day, comes, starts waking up and says, we're doing this today, this today. Like I'm in the army with him.
Actually, they are very bossy people.
Mhm.
Even there's another thing, because he's a Scorpio rising, that is why it's happening. But Scorpio moon people are not bossy.
Mhm.
They are actually very backstage people. They don't have that risk-taking abilities. But Scorpio rising is something which are highly risk-taker. They have they have very high energy in them. And they don't know what to do with that energy. The
Yeah.
another funny thing is that, and suppose if you by any chance you get Mars to be in your first house, Sun to be in your first house, God bless the parents of that kid.
So double like Scorpio rising, Scorpio sun, or Scorpio Mars, Scorpio rising. Yes.
God bless. And
They
you
need
know what?
to
The
find
only,
things to do, like goals, and that's the only thing, because otherwise they do trouble.
yeah, because you know what? Only these two guys can control the energy of this rising, Jupiter and Sun.
Mhm.
If they are somehow making relationship with this rising, their energy will stay in a good position, in a good place. Otherwise, very
Oh.
high energy. Yeah. Scorpio rising, there's another thing with the Scorpio rising. Moon becomes the most benefic. Sorry. What I'm doing. Moon becomes the most benefic one because we are talking about energy. Energy is something which is controlled by our mind. So we discuss energy is coming in our intellect, and who will be presenting the energy, that is the body. We discuss moon represents our life. So if our body is designed such a way which is able to digest the energy,
Mhm.
okay, then things are very good. And somehow if this moon makes a relationship with Jupiter in Scorpio rising horoscope, it's a very good combination you can think of. Person becomes very wise.
So
For the Cancer rising,
Moon opposition Jupiter, Moon conjunct Jupiter, Jupiter
yes,
trine Moon for Cancer
yes.
rising is okay.
But Jupiter must not be in 6-8 axis of moon.
Mhm.
Okay. So one another thing about Scorpio rising, Sun is also benefic. Okay, definitely because it's the Lord of 10th house, the giver of uh work or karma for the person or duties to the person. But Venus is not good. Venus, I would really consider the most challenging thing for Scorpio rising is Venus. Let me tell you why. If this Venus is not placed very well, person can really have a very loose character.
Mm. Like
Most of the
sexual.
time, sexually, yes, sexually.
That's
Most
why
of the time, yeah.
that's
And
why
you
they
know
are
what?
known for this Scorpio rising people.
And you can see most of the Scorpio rising people, forget about wherever the position Venus hold, they are highly sexually active people. And if Venus is getting out of control, it will be definitely trouble for male person. They can be a very high womanizer. Okay. And on top of it, if you have a combination of Venus and Mars together and plus Rahu somewhere somehow participating in the combination, you should really avoid that person. If it's a
Pervert.
male, it can learn, yeah, pervert actually. It can be a womanizer. If a female, okay, they can actually lead towards a prostitution or escort kind of things.
Mm.
Most of, you know what you will find if you ever get somebody's horoscope who is working maybe in the club, maybe in porn industry, or maybe in those kind of stuff, definitely 50% or 60% of them are Scorpio rising.
Really? Oh,
I will share the database with you. I have a very high database of porn stars. Okay.
porn stars.
So I have like database of everything, like for people suffering from the cancer. Like I have created a big database with like 200 horoscopes. You will see most of them are having Scorpio rising with overly energized Venus, malefic Venus.
Well, my son has Venus exalted. Is that overly energized Venus?
No, you know what? This house is never creates any bad energy.
Okay.
Okay. This
Venus.
house is never, yeah, because what you know, Venus is there and you mentioned his Jupiter is in the first house, right?
No, in the 12th.
In the 12th house. So that's exchange of moon,
Yeah.
Jupiter and Venus. So it's a very good one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and it's also South Node with Venus. I want them to be one woman boy to get married. Yeah,
If you know,
no women.
if instead of South node, it had been the North node, Rahu Venus, this way, that would be a bad combination. But actually, this South node is not having any high desires. Desire is coming from Rahu or the North node only. This is the thing. He will be very selective. He will be somebody who is very selective in picking up not just girlfriends, any female. Okay, very selective communicating. Even you know what? Uh, if he has to communicate with his aunts, he will be having, I like that aunt, I will not be liking that aunt.
He's absolutely like that.
I like,
Absolutely.
I'm like, I like this female cousin, I don't like this female cousin. But with males, he's fine.
Wow.
Okay.
So
So
what
that is something.
Venus for Scorpio rising that is highly energized, like being with Rahu, you said one example. What else could it be?
Suppose this is a Scorpio rising and we have Rahu plus Venus here in the Gemini sign. Okay. And this is, and somehow if this Mars comes in this or this in the 12th house or 6th house, bad combination, bad combination. Okay, so this is something which is need to be careful of. Last night only, yesterday only, I was talking to a client. Okay, and I simply said, please excuse my question, but were you in that kind of stuff? And she confirmed that she was in the stuff.
Wow, she had a Scorpio rise?
She was not having a Scorpio rising, but that kind of combinations, which we are discussing. And I was very afraid to ask her. But we need to improve ourselves, our combination that we have read this, and this is how we need to confirm that. And yeah. Okay, so this was general thing.
So we like
combination.
Scorpio. For Scorpio, we would like to see the moon with Jupiter or opposition, the sun opposition Jupiter conjunct Jupiter. Yes, this kind of combination.
Yes, yes,
moon, that's success.
Yes. And a few more things like even Jupiter plus Mercury, they also bring good wealth. Jupiter plus Mercury confirms good wealth. And even if in Taurus, Sun is there, Venus is there, and Mercury is there. Okay. This can really offer some good power or fame to the native in these people, Dasha, or the period, sub-period.
Sun, Venus, or Mercury, Dasha.
Yeah. Like mostly I have seen Scorpio rising, and because they will be infusing a lot of energy to this first house, okay? And they are power hungry people. They are attention seeking people.
So the rule of the first in aspect or opposition, conjunct opposition with, so you can only have Sun conjunct Venus, the ruler of the first with the 10, and Mercury is the ruler of the 11th, which is also vicious desires.
Yes.
So have success because of that. Okay.
Yeah. So that is all. But another thing, if there is a combination of Jupiter, Moon, and South Node in the Cancer sign, let's say here, Jupiter, Moon, and South Node Ketu in the Cancer sign. This is the Cancer sign. The Ketu Dasha or the Moon Dasha will be ordinary, but this particular Jupiter Dasha will be bringing a lot of wealth, knowledge, or good connection to the native.
Because that's the rule of the 9th and the 10th together.
Yes.
Makes Rash.
So 9th ruler of 5th and 9th together.
Oh, sorry.
So although if we just have Jupiter and Moon combination in the Cancer sign, that's a very good one. Being K2 is kind of bringing that combination's energy down. Instead of the kind of result we supposed to have, that gonna go away. So that will be afflicting Moon's energy. So Moon Dasha will not be that good. So Jupiter Dasha will be good. Otherwise, if we just having Jupiter plus Moon in the 9th house of Scorpio rising, that will be a good Dasha. Both Moon and Jupiter. But being Ketu, South not present there, that's gonna be taking away the energy. Talking about Sagittarius rising. Talking about Sagittarius rising. So what is happening with Sagittarius? This is another fiery rising sign. And one thing is there, I have seen Sagittarius people are also kind of selfish people, self-centered people, mostly self-centered people. Although this rising sign belongs to Jupiter, but still something is about Sagittarius people. They are very self-centered and they are most blunt people.
Yes.
They just speak out. They don't know what is the circumstances, what is the situation, okay, what is the mindset of other person. They just need to show themselves. Okay, so that is something with the Sagittarius people. And the only goal for them is to manage this energy of them, to control what they say. Okay. But somehow this is, in terms of combinations, this is a good rising sign. If they have like small combination on right places, they can rise very well. They can really do very good. Specifically, Mars and Sun are the most benefic one. Okay. For Sagittarius people, if somehow you get exalted Sun in the 5th house, focus on your education, focus on investment banking, and you can be a great investment banker. And similarly, even if you have Mars here, just Mars, focus on same your education, apply your education, think about getting into industries.
Into what?
Management in industry, having some kind of industry. Management comes very good to the Sagittarius people. So management also comes to Virgo people. Management also comes to Sagittarius people, Aquarius people. So it's very good for them. So think about into Gemini also very people connected to management. So these two guys are very good here. Or if you want to just amplify this combination, you have Mars over here and Sun over here. Wow, you are blessed one.
Mars and Sun in the 9th in Leo.
Mars in the 5th house, Sun in the 9th house, or
And
vice versa.
That's Mars in Aries in its own sign and Sun in Leo in its own sign.
Or vice versa. Sun here, Mars here. Okay. That is a very good combination to have. The only thing which is there, Saturn and Mercury are very evil planets here. Mercury is very same thing which we discussed in the time of Gemini. So Mercury is holding two major houses, and this combination is called Kendra Adhipati. Kendra Adhipati. Okay, this is a combination of Mars and this thing. So what happens with that? So basically, whenever Mercury is somehow acquiring the quadrant houses, the Kendra houses, it loses its strength. So if same Mercury is going into the trinal houses, it's good. But if it is acquiring the quadrant houses, it loses its strength, and person, instead of being good in logical and reasoning part, it becomes not so good in that. Okay.
So say
Venus,
Mercury in Gemini for Sagittarius rising is not good.
Not good. And that's,
even though it's in its own sign. And
yes, even it's on the own sign. The only way your marriage will be working if you're having a very good communication with the spouse, or you're having a friendly relationship with your spouse. You must have a buddy kind of relationship with your spouse. Okay. Instead of treating her your wife, consider her your friend. Instead of considering her your husband, consider him as your friend.
Yeah, Mercury.
Okay. And for the people who have Sagittarius rising Mercury in the 7th house, they really feel very attached to their friends. Not specifically romantic attachment, but still friends are something which are very important. Same goes with the Virgo people as well.
True.
For Virgo people, friends mean a lot to them. Yeah. So a few combination about Sagittarius thing. So whenever Saturn is in 5th house, like in Aries sign. although it's in debilitation situation, but it will confirm prosperity in its dasha,
Despite being in Aries. Okay.
despite being in Aries. Okay. And if somehow Mars is supporting, if somehow Mars is supporting fifth house, it can really give some good results from there. So otherwise, what we see whenever we have a dasha of debilitated planet, we kind of feel difficulties in that. Okay. Just we don't have any clue where to, but this will be altering that.
Because that becomes the ruler of the second, goes in the fifth. That's kind of a wealth yoga.
Yeah. And not wealth yoga. Wealth yoga will be more like if Saturn is in here.
In the 11th.
Okay. 11. Because this can give immense amount of wealth. Saturn exalted being the lord of second house.
Saturn
This is the wealth game. This is a wealth game. And yeah. But this Saturn can also cause health issues to the native. Okay. So I guess yes. About Capricorn rising. The Capricorn rising, now the upcoming two rising belongs to Saturn, Capricorn and Aquarius. But there is something. In both of the rising, Venus becomes the most powerful one. What happens in Taurus, Saturn was getting the powerful edge. In these, Venus is getting the powerful edge. And specifically in the Capricorn, what is happening? Mercury and of course the rising lord is good. So Mercury is also something which can create some good yogas because this is the lord of fortune. So whenever we find a yoga combination between Saturn and Mercury, they actually give some good growth to the native. Specifically, if that is happening in the trine houses, like say Saturn plus Mercury here, Saturn plus Mercury here, Saturn plus Mercury here. Okay, the person becomes very wise.
Very wise.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this can really infuse intelligence to the native.
What if it's in another house, but still Saturn and Mercury?
It should not be. It should not be in these two houses, 12th house and the 8th house. Okay, these two houses it will be causing trouble. Specifically, in 8th house, it will be causing trouble to the family. Like he will be having problems with family. Okay, and about Venus, some combination about Venus. If Venus is in Taurus, okay, here. If Venus is in Taurus, this particular combination can really result into person getting into very high society, high status companies. But on the other hand, Venus in the Libra will not be something which will be indicating some very good combination, some very good fortune. So there's something like, you know what, Venus being in the 5th house will be indicating good wealth, good status, good company. But being into the Libra, that is just a normal combination.
Interesting.
Nothing extra on it. It's just 100% thing, but being in the 5th house, that is a positive part. Okay. Yeah. And coming on, Mars is something which is very, very, very bad for Capricorn people. Although this is where Mars gets exalted. Of course, in the 1st house, if Mars is there, that's a good combination, but not anywhere else. Although Sun is the lord of 8th house, that's a neutral. Sun will not cause a problem. Mars placement make lot of difference. Because that's an enemy sign. Similarly, even for the Aquarius as well, for Aquarius, Mars is a good one. But for this particular rising, Mars is a difficult one. Okay. Yeah. Talking about Libra.
Libra?
Oh, sorry, Aquarius. I don't know what's happening. Talking about Aquarius. Again, Venus is the most benefit. You can expect anything from Venus. Everything can be given by Venus. For people who are Aquarius or Capricorn, this or Virgo, they simply start improving their Venus. Things will be very coming to them very easily because this is the Lord of your fortune. Because this is the Lord of your comfort.
Mhm.
Venus is everything. And somehow if Venus falls in a good houses, very blessed position. Okay. Success is confirmed.
How do you
And
improve your Venus?
so Venus can be easily improved by respecting your wife, respecting your sisters, respecting your daughters, whatever the female around.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Not the mother.
Manic mother is more like me.
Okay. Female
Okay.
friends, sisters.
Female friends. Specifically, you know what? Sometimes if you are having a bad Venus, again, I would say manage your character. Okay. You must not be, some people, you know what, they know that this is not a good thing. So they really don't that way. But their mindset is kind of spoiled. So try to improve your mindset as well. Okay. So mindset is also very important with Venus because whatever the character, the deviation of the character is coming, that starts from the mindset only. If mindset is pure, sacred, that will be automatically reflecting on the actions. So for Venus, it's a very simple remedy. Specifically, one more thing can be done, like start making some donations to the old age home.
To who?
Female old age home, female old age home, where in the old age home, where females are there, female old age or widow places. You know what, if somebody is having a very bad Venus and if they find a widow, just a widow, living alone, okay, support her.
Widow. Some, yeah. Yeah.
That will be a very good remedy for Venus.
Okay, that's beautiful. That's simple.
And
have
because
a good mindset towards women around you, basically.
yes, women or opposite gender as well.
Okay.
Okay, for female also it should be because you know what is sexual energy coming from Venus home. So just have a good mindset towards the opposite gender. That's the only thing. Meaning managing the character, whether it's a male or female, that doesn't matter. And for particularly Aquarius, Sun and Mars are also something which are good houses. Why? Mars is the lord of 10th house. Sun is the lord of 7th house. So somehow it will not be causing problem in Aquarius sign. Okay. In initially being Sun in difficult houses, this house, this house, this house, initial life can be a trouble, but later life will be good one. Specifically after the age 30s or 29 onwards, it start getting better.
Absolutely. I can say I have Sun conjunct Mars in the third, and till 30, my life was quite hard. And then it got better and better.
Yes. And specifically, if you have a conjunction of Sun plus Mars anywhere in this horoscope except these houses, it is good. It is very good. Okay. You must be workaholic. You must be dedicated towards work. That is all you need. Okay. And few combination about Venus plus Saturn. Venus plus Saturn, it also in the Sagittarius sign can really confirms good fortune, very good fortune. And here, Sun plus Mercury plus Jupiter, they also confirms good fortune.
In the third house.
In the third house. Okay. And of course, Mars in the third house really indicates the person is very good with their with their um, upbringing, you can call it, with their actions, you can call it. Okay. The last rising sign, that's Pisces. Moon, Mars are the most beneficial for Pisces. So This is there. This trine is a benefic one. Saturn plus Sun, Venus, Mercury. They are the neutral one, not highly malefic. Okay. In Pisces, nobody is highly malefic. But Venus can cause trouble. Of course, Venus is highly malefic. Sun and Mercury, they are you can call it neutral. Okay. Jupiter, because a lot of two kendras, that's not something very strong. It should be in trines to give good results. But Saturn should be in good position for Pisces rising people. Jupiter should be in a good position. Venus can cause trouble. Venus can cause blunder for the Pisces rising people.
What can it cause?
Like lot of difficulties for the Pisces rising people. Bad decision for the Pisces rising people will be coming from Venus only.
Like
And
the eighth house.
yes, 8th law. One more thing about Pisces rising. If Pisces rising having Jupiter in the Kendras, first, fourth, seventh, and 10th, person will be having more daughters than the sun.
Ah.
Okay, so that is something. And Saturn in the Aquarius, in the 12th house, this is a good combination for Pisces rising people. Venus in the 12th house produce good fortune for the Pisces rising. This is one of the good location for the Venus to have for Pisces rising people.
Why? What would it give there in the 12th house?
Actually, 12th house, Venus become Karaka. And when this 8th lord who could cause trouble in any other houses, getting into the another Dustana, malefic house, gonna improve itself.
Uh-huh.
Another things, Moon, Mercury, and Mars. If that happens in this house,
In which
Moon,
house?
Mercury, Mars, 11th house, this can really bring good wealth to the native.
Mercury and Mars.
Okay. These are the few combinations we discussed today about the risings. And we can really include them in transits as well. So they may not be acting in your, they may not be acting in your, I would say, on horoscope, but sometimes for these rising, for the moon rising, if that is happening in transit, you can expect the same results.
So like in the last example of Pisces, when you see that Mercury, the moon, and what was it? And Jupiter are in Gemini.
Mercury, moon, yeah.
Mercury,
And
moon, which happened probably this June, that Mercury,
yes.
Jupiter, and the moon were in Gemini. Maybe there was something good happening for Pisces rising.
Many, yeah, they can, Pisces, I think people can relate that. So that is, so for transit, it's a very good information, because here and there things do happen in the transits if that is not happening in the birth chart. For that period, you can do some very good things, or you can avoid getting into some making big decisions if those combinations are not good for you.
And for Aries rising, for example, when there is a full moon, because the sun and moon aspect each other, it's a good time for them as well.
Yes. And because what will be happening for Aries rising people, whenever they have, because 4th house and 5th house, that is the most important house in any horoscope. 10th house, 9th house, and 9th house are the most important houses. Whenever they make a good combination within the transit of for any rising, they bestows good result. Like I'm a Libra rising, so whenever something will be happening with my 4th house or 5th house planet or 9th house, 10th house planet, I really expect something to happen to me.
So you want combinations between the ruler of the 4th and the 5th, or the ruler of the 9th and the 10th?
Yeah, all 5th and 9th combination.
Ah, okay, 5th and 9th, or 4th and 9th.
Yeah.
4th, 5th, 9th, and 10th. When you see those planets,
yeah,
those houses, whole house signs in your horoscope, getting together in the sky, aspecting each other in opposition, These are when good stuff happen.
Yes.
Mm.
So yeah, we'll discuss that.
Another amazing lecture from you, Himanshu. I'm sure people can work out a lot, like they remember their good rulers, and when they see them getting together, they get excited in transits. This is
Yeah, transit is something, because transit is a thing. Whatever happened in the birth chart, that is happened. But we need to make decision in day-to-day life. So we rely a lot on the transit and the dasha period. So this is what I will be teaching in my upcoming classes. Right now, I'm teaching them planets. So when I'm done with the planets, I will be picking up the signs, and then all of these things will be taught in very detailed manner as well.
By the way, you can still join Himanshu's courses.
Yeah.
Pay in installments, or you can pay one off. One is a 3-month course, the other one is a whole year. You'd receive
Yes, of course.
previous lessons. His
Yeah.
knowledge is, I'm stunned every time. I think I can even, what I learned
Thank
today,
you.
I have to write it and I can apply it to my monthly horoscopes when I do videos.
Definitely.
And I can say, okay, you're Taurus rising, the sun will conjunct Saturn. Actually, for you, this will be good. You can expect some success
Yes.
and so on. So
Yes.
this is fascinating. You're enriching me, who I thought I knew everything about astrology. Every time I learn
It's
so much.
just the humbleness of you being such a senior astrologer. Still, you appreciate juniors of you. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Jane, if you want to connect to Himanshu for a personal reading as well, I'll put the link below. He's exceptional. He's great, especially if you have very specific questions for him. That's what I love. Like I was asking some very specific questions, and I loved how he immediately would tell me the answer. And I've been following his advice, so I'm very happy.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Himanshu. Thank you, everyone, for joining us, and have a great one.